A growing number of church leaders are criticizing President Trump's immigration policies. A prominent Catholic church leader said, quote, some provisions contained in the executive order, such as those focused on the treatment of immigrants and refugees, are deeply troubling and will have negative consequences in their view. Let's bring in now Bishop Mark Seitz. He's the chairman of the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops Committee on Migration. Bishop, thanks for being here. We appreciate you taking the time.
Pleasure to be with you.
Is the Catholic Church in the United States taking a formal position on President Trump's immigration policies in recent days?
We are. We think we have to speak to many of these policies, which we see as going against some of the basic tenets of our faith, frankly. The fundamental right of every human person that need to be respected, no matter their origin, no matter their situation.
What is the strategy for the church in the United States, if any, in terms of dealing with this administration beyond the immigration issues this week? Do you have a big picture four-year approach to how you're going to handle this moment?
Well, I think all of us are, in the church and without, are looking to see what shape this administration takes and what positions they actually land on. I don't think any of us knows exactly, but things have come into a clearer light in regard to the immigration questions right now, and so we're responding to those.
Is the Vatican paying close attention to what's happening here in the U.S. and Pope Francis? Are they keeping tabs on this through the conference? And do you expect Catholic leaders, including the Pope, to meet with President Trump at some point this year?
Well, I can't say what Pope Francis's plans might be, but he certainly is paying attention, and he has spoken to some of the concerns based on what the president, now president, said during his campaign. He expressed a great deal of concern about some of the proposals.
You've talked about in your statement in recent days that the president needs to be more merciful, to pick out a word I saw in that statement. What do you mean by that when it comes to politics and policy? How does that translate into what you would like to see happen?
From a Christian point of view, there's no way to really speak about justice without mercy. Mercy is part of it. You can't simply take a law and then present it as though its literal wording explains the whole or deals with the whole reality. So mercy has to temper the way that justice is practiced, and very often with a sweeping kind of statements that are coming from the administration, we don't see that happening.
Bishop, you are in El Paso, Texas, near the U.S.-Mexican border. What's your own personal experience with migrants and dealing with migrant issues?
Well, our church has actually received many immigrants after they were processed by the Border Patrol and in their journey on to other locations. So we've had the chance to interact with thousands of people who had passed through. I can say, for instance, in the shelter that was run by our diocese, that in years of receiving people, we had not one violent incident in that shelter in all of those years. In fact, we saw a great deal of faith. We saw a great deal of goodness. They were all ready to help us in the shelter and do whatever they could with a great deal of gratitude for the assistance we gave.
And just finally, Bishop, when you think about the Catholic Church in the United States, some parishioners at your church and in your area and others across the country might agree with your position on immigration. They might disagree. What do you say to those who disagree with the church's official position, and how should they handle it, in your view, as a church official?
Well, the way that our church is set up, we do have a hierarchy, and there are those who are appointed to be faithful to the teachings of Christ. Of course, the Pope is the main representative of that, and he sums up the authority of the church. There are also bishops who, along with him, come together and affirm that teaching. And we believe that those who are in that position are given the assistance of the Holy Spirit. So I'm not saying that everything a bishop says or even a pope says is absolutely defined by that, but one who hears what the leaders of the church are saying as a Catholic Christian certainly needs to take it very seriously. Step back, don't just react. Listen, read the Gospels, because that's where we get most of our stuff.
And just real quick, one final question. Cardinal Dolan, many Americans saw, the Archbishop of New York, gave an invocation, spoke at President Trump's inaugural. Where does he stand versus where the U.S. conference stands on this issue?
Oh, if you go back to the last several months and look at his statements, you'll find no stronger spokesperson for the dignity and rights of immigrants than Cardinal Dolan.
Bishop Mark Seitz in El Paso, Texas, thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.